There wasn't a need to rush the throw.
It is a throwing error there for Lauren Boutte. Katie Bennett now up at the plate for the Longhorns. Hit by a pitch in her first AB. Yep. Pinch runner is getting ready to step on here for Quiroga, who reached on that error. It's going to be Adea Wallace stepping onto first, the sophomore outfielder out of Plano, Texas. Primarily being utilized as a pinch runner. Did the same thing against Kent State earlier this weekend. Did stay into play and left and scored a run. One runner on, one out, 0-1 count here for Bennett. Ball one. I also wonder with an easy play, a comebacker like that, and I say easy, I'm saying it in quotations, you can't see me on the screen. It's just, especially as a freshman, you're managing a lot of things when you're thinking about what your game plan is and what kind of pitches you're throwing and all that, and all of a sudden the ball rolls back at you. It should be ball slapped here in the infield, but it gets through into left. Runners on the go. Quiroga into second, Bennett at first.
Yeah, that's why you want to be careful. Now you got runners on first and second. You got a slap that just got through that infield. Now you've got Speed and Wallace at second base in scoring position with the leadoff runner on. A beautiful slap though, as it just gets through. Quartercrack's kind of shading a little bit towards second base to allow that ball to get through.
Maloney trying to lay down the bunt. Back to the top of the order of the Longhorns. What's the mental approach here for Boutte?
Well, if you're Boutte, I think you've got to be smart about your pitches. You got Maloney that's kind of a triple threat in a lot of ways. Has the ability for the long ball. We know with Mike White talking to us, she's better with two strikes, so you've got to be smart now in a two-strike position.
Right on cue.
Right on cue. So for Texas, ultimately this is where Texas wants to be, right? Runners on first and second, an 0-2 count for Ashton Maloney. For Boutte, she's just got to find her good pitches, look for a pop fly.
This one just slapped back towards Boutte, flips it to first. Does get the out, runners advance.
And that's your next best thing, an infield ground ball allows the runners to advance, but nothing that gets far enough out that allows runners to score. You got two outs.
Mia Scott up at the plate. 1 for 2 with that bomb in the first inning. Strike one.
And I think you pitch Scott a little bit careful here, right? You know she's got the power. She's seen Boutte's pitch, sent it out of the park already. You've got a base to give. You can see it here a little bit that Boutte is not really trying to give her anything too good. Facing Jolie Mitchell, who's not gotten on base yet. Next.
A line drive up the middle. Wallace coming around to score in a run down here. Tagged and she is out. Big defensive play for the Buckeyes. Texas though up 4-0.
What a great throw from the outfield. Make it all the way throw to Burns. That makes a beautiful throw to get the out. Save the run. Of her strengths as well. How do you like about what she's doing today in terms of how she's mixing her pitches?
Yeah, she's got to stay competitive here and keep attacking them. You know, a couple of freebies, you know, a couple of walks and a hit by batter. So we got to kind of eliminate that and just attack them.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. Jenny, I see a little smile on your face. You're just waiting to say go Wolverines or go Blue, aren't you?
Go Blue. I got to say, go. You know, I love it when coaches say that they all have their thing. Yep. You know, hook 'em, go Cats, go Bucks, go Blue. Last one was kind of hard for me, but I got the go Blue.
Reagan Milliken swinging early, aggressive. A collision in the outfield, but Maloney does catch it. Going to ground there with Stewart. She's back up, though, appears to be okay.
You can see just not a lot of communication here. Maloney has the call as center fielder to call off Stewart there in right field. Just not hearing it. Maloney squeezes the ball. It could have been a little bit more dangerous there from an injury perspective. Looks like both of them are okay. Maloney also makes the out.
Swing and a miss from Caitlin Farley. Now up. Stewart definitely didn't look happy after going to ground in that tough collision.
I always feel like that's the competitiveness in you, that you don't want to run into somebody. It makes you mad first, and then you recognize that it was a communication error that you got to fix. And ultimately, I mean, the call is that the center fielder on a team has the ultimate call to call off, and you've got to be loud enough to listen and also back off.
Strike three, Caitlin Farley goes down looking.
Yeah, a quick strike three here from Farley. Beautiful pitch there, top of the strike zone, right on the corner. Farley watches it go by. It is hard when it gets to the top of that strike zone, finding that gray area of whether or not it's going to jump out of that zone or not. I think it was a beautiful pitch, just hitting that top of that zone.
Jasmine Burns now stepping up to the plate, trying to get something going here for this Buckeyes offense. Grounded out 0 for 1 so far today. Watches ball 2. Burns pops one up. Head coach Mike White, what a job he's done leading this Longhorns program. Two-time national runners-up, 55 wins last season, tied the program record. Also, they've made 5 NCAA super regional appearances. How has he been able to be so successful for this Longhorns program?
I think he just knows his team. Obviously, I mean, there's kind of your expertise, right? Your ability to recruit, your ability to coach, your ability to know the game, things like that. But he knows his players. He knows how to coach them. He knows what he needs to see, things like that. And I think it's about getting over that hump, right? He's talked to his players about what's it take to win, to get to the final of it.
Burns safe and on the move to second after bad error there by the Texas defense.
Yeah, that one just gets past Simmons there at first base. This one gets a little bit in the hole, a deep throw by Good. Simmons cannot hang on to the hop. And just gets past, allows Burns to round and get all the way to second base. Something happening there for the Bucks.
2 outs, though, but runner on second. Morgan Fry up at the plate. Watches ball 1. Struck out in her first AB.
Going back to Mike White real quick, he talked to us a little bit this year about, I kind of asked, do they believe they can make it happen this year? Number 1 team in the country, maybe the favorite as of right now, just with that number 1 next to their name of winning the national championship. And he said, I asked him that same question when they got back, do they believe they can make it happen? And the question is, sometimes I think we're still playing the name on the front of the jersey, and we have to believe that we can make it happen, and we have the talent to get it done. The question is, do we feel like when we play the name on the front of the jersey that they're not better than us? And they have to come out and really play their game and trust that they can win it. And I'll say they've got depth of pitching staff. They've got talent offensively. They've got all the things they need to make it happen. Between the ears, they've got to trust that that can happen. They've got a very tough schedule to get there, but by the time they get to postseason, it should probably feel easy at that point, Kylan. I don't know.
3-0 count there for Fry. Now, Texas was predicted to finish first in the SEC's annual preseason softball coaches poll, but you look at the gauntlet of their schedule and just how good the SEC is.
21 ranked opponent games, 21 out of their 24. And by the way, the other 3 with Missouri, who's receiving votes, maybe by the end of the season, Missouri will be ranked. So, you know, like, it's crazy. If you look at their schedule, what they're going to have to face. And like I said, by the time they get to postseason, they might be taking a breath. They might be happy. So it just is, it's very difficult what they're about to face. And, you know, it can make anybody run out of steam by the time they get to postseason. But at the same time, if you believe in what you can do, you can beat anybody. And by the way, one of those 3-game series is Oklahoma. So there is going to be a rematch of the, you know, the World Series finals from last year. And maybe that's a telling thing for them too, that if they come out and they win that series, maybe it's not a series sweep, but they win that series, they believe they can do something there as well.
The thing is, they open up conference play this upcoming weekend against Florida, who may be another one of the biggest challengers for a national championship and that SEC crown, outside of, obviously, everyone knows Oklahoma's done it 4 times in a row. But no time to waste to really get into top form, and that's something that Coach White said coming into this game, is that this team needs to be doing everything possible to be playing their best softball right now, and really focusing on a game like this to figure out how to get better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the Gators offense is, by the way, on fire. So super tall order here next week. Both of these teams, really. I mean, Ohio State's got Nebraska next week. They've got a game tomorrow against Notre Dame. So huge schedules coming up here in the next week for both of these teams.
Showing bunt there was Lamone. Skylar Lamone now up at the plate with runners on first and second. Does get called a strike, so 0-2 count here with 2 outs. And yeah, then this Ohio State team opening up conference play with Nebraska. Yeah, that's a pretty tough start to the conference schedule after that Notre Dame game that you just brought up.
In case we need to remember, Jordy Ball's back.
Yep.
And she's bringing it this year. So I feel like people need to tune in to the Big Ten Network, because she's going to bring some cool stuff, and she's showing up for Nebraska, and Ohio State's got to face her next week.
Kavan showing up for the Longhorns defense as they get out of the inning with a 4-0 lead. For the Ohio State Buckeyes, it's the senior righty Kennedy Kay out of Creston, Ohio, bringing in a 4.24 ERA. What are you looking for from her?
Well, Kennedy Kay, she's going to throw mid to upper 60s. She's a drop and change mostly. She has some rise that she'll introduce just to change the eye, but really working on consistency. She's a junior, maybe in title only. Her first win, her first pitch was really this season. So again, 3 freshmen on the staff. She's the junior, but really everybody's seeing their first games this season.
Her redshirt sophomore campaign made 13 appearances, just 19 1/3 innings, had a 6.63 ERA last year. Close one, called ball 1-1 count. She also missed her 2022 campaign with an injury, so prior to her redshirt freshman and redshirt sophomore campaigns. Coming into the heart of the order here as she steps in.
You can see the tumble on the changeup, that drop ball and the tumble on the changeup. That's the mix that you're going to see mostly from Kay. When she mixes them well, she's seen a lot of success so far this year.
1-2 pitch. Ball 2. As you mentioned, just threw her first 7-inning game in Clearwater back in mid-February when the Buckeyes went down south for that invitational. Went 7 against North Florida. Ball 3, full count now. Gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run. Coach Kumar mentioned that she's noticed and others have brought up how Kay has been carrying herself different this year with a lot more confidence. Sent out of play, full count remains.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. You get your first career win under your belt, and you kind of have that sense of, hey, I can do this. You know, I'm feeling my pitches. I feel like I can own it a little bit here in the circle. Maybe a little bit of leadership. Being the oldest one on the staff too helps. Not a bad pitch there, missing a little bit low.
Mitchell aboard now on the walk for the Longhorns. Again, mentioned getting into the heart of the order here, but hitters 3 through 6, 1 for 8 today with 2 strikeouts for Texas, which is not typically the place when you're typically the case rather when you're talking about Mitchell, Atwood, Good, and Stewart. Atwood got a great piece of that one, sent it foul, but some good contact.
You can see it, see how smooth she is. You can look at how good she truly is. Most career home runs in program history, 44, third in program history.
Grounds one foul this time. Yeah, moving up that career home run list this season, sliding up into third. As she does have 10, once again leading this team. Top 5 in the SEC in slugging percentage, OPS, RBIs, a number of different categories coming into the day. Runs scored, home runs, and triples, if we're going to be exact. A lot of categories. Ball one.
And you can tell, I mean, very rarely do you see a pitcher want to throw in the outside corner against her, just because she extends, when she extends her hands, her ability to just drive a pitch out of the park is so good. You saw that one pitch on the outside corner from Boutte, needing to get a little bit further out.
Ground ball, this one kept in play. Outmade it first, the bouncer, or at second rather, the bouncer to first. Not in time. But you'll take that against Reese Atwood, as we're just talking about the type of power she has. Set school records in home runs and RBIs last year.
You can get a fielder's choice or a ground ball or anything that really limits what kind of production she can do. It's a huge win.
One out now, runner on first. Atwood reaching on the fielder's choice. Good now up at the plate. 0 for 2 so far today. Good went 1 for 3 with a home run though earlier today against Dayton. Watches ball 2.
Good's kind of worked herself up in the lineup behind Atwood. Coach Mike White's talked a lot about whoever he puts behind Atwood, the importance of how well they're doing, because they have to protect Reese Atwood. That if they're not hitting well, then Atwood's not going to see a good pitch. Good has not been behind Atwood for most of the seasons. Kind of worked herself up there now, really because of the success that she's had as of late.
Popped up. Number of players trying to run it down as it's foul. Can't get there. But yeah, to your point, Katie Stewart was the one batting after Reese Atwood. She has slid down one in the order as Good has slid up, to your point. Went 3 for 4 against Kent State with a double, an RBI, run scored, and a stolen base. And then again, 1 for 3 earlier today with a home run. Moving up in the order due to that.
Well, and maybe seeing too, Kylan, Katie Stewart's got those 2 Ks that you were mentioning. K here for Good.
A K for K. Look at that.
And a great pitch here on that outside corner. Just gets Good really going after a pitch that's kind of moving a little bit out of that zone. Really gets Good. Just going after a pitch maybe isn't the one that she's looking for, trying to protect that corner.
Katie Stewart, who we were just talking about up at the plate, says you're talking about the strikeouts, went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts earlier today against Dayton in their first game of this doubleheader. Now 0 for 2 in this game with 2 strikeouts. Coming into the day, though, led the team in RBIs. Swing and a miss.
And Coach White talks about how good she is and says that she can be tough on herself, has to remind herself that she's not going to be perfect. And, you know, with players who are perfectionists, in a lot of cases, they have these moments where sometimes they can be so hard on themselves that they have these moments where they hit a lot of strikeouts in a row, and then they have a lot of success in a row. And you see another K there.
Another strikeout on the board, the 3rd straight in this game for Katie Stewart. But Kennedy K fired up after delivering the K. Ohio State's trying to battle back in this one at home.
I love it, and I could watch it all day.
Cruz
Totally
swings and misses. Yes, 100%. I'm also jealous. I want to give Coach Kumar her props for creativity. She mentioned she started, or kind of had the idea for this whole thing back when she was on staff at Virginia Tech, and they played, there's ball 1, and they played against the tennis team, or rather the tennis team hit balls at them, and then they had to field them. And she said that's something she did again at Miami, was connected with the tennis team where they hit some balls or served some balls at her players who had to react. And this time, like you said, got an expansive number of sports. I just can't believe she landed on fencing. That's the funniest thing to me. She said she met the coach, they got to talking, and there you go.
And I'm officially going to put it in my notes, so every year I ask Coach Kumar, which sport did she choose this year? Because I feel like it's going to be a different sport every year. Maybe not, but...
Water polo. Get them in the pool next year. That's my vote.
I love it. I do think the tennis one's quite interesting, though.
Yeah.
Just let the tennis serve, working on your fielding skills by letting the tennis team just serve at 100 miles an hour at you.
Why not? That'll certainly work the defensive reflexes. That's for sure, as Cruz goes down, first out on the board here. Buckeyes head to the top of the order. Hadley Parisian up to bat. Also one change out in the field. Shylin Brister now in the outfield for the Texas defense.
And 3rd time through the lineup here for Parisian to really make her adjustments. And again, this is, Coach Kumar had really talked about attacking Kavan and knowing she had that up, she had that down, and we hadn't seen a lot from Kavan with the down, but she has introduced it a little bit more here in the later parts of the game. And for these hitters to really say, I'm better at hitting down, I'm better at hitting up, sticking with one of those 2 pitches, whatever your strength is, and going with it. And for these Ohio State batters to really see that pitch a little bit more, make minor adjustments, and really go and attack it here in the later parts of the game. And you are seeing these batters a little bit more patient. And I think that that is something to me that has been a little bit more of their success. And Ohio State, and to me, Coach Kumar, always more aggressive. And so to be patient is something that to me is an adjustment. It's something that they're not typically used to doing.
Strike right over the plate for a full count.
Yeah.
But when you're going up against a really, really good pitcher, you have to be patient, right?
I think you have, especially a Riseball pitcher whose part of her game is to throw it out of the zone, you know, to get you to swing and miss.
Swing and a miss.
Yep.
Strike 2, out number 2 for Tegan Kavan.
And that's so hard to do. To see a pitch that comes in the zone and spins out of it, that was ball 4, but how do you lay off of that when it starts in that zone and out? And that's what makes Kavan so good. You see that Parisian just could not lay off it because she had to protect the plate. That's when you get behind in the count, you get those 2 strikes on you. So difficult. It reminds me of back in my day when we played Texas. Kat Osterman was kind of the same way with her drop ball. Ultimately, her drop ball tended to spin often out of the zone. And why would she need to throw it in the strike zone if everybody swung and missed? And that really was kind of her MO, was stay out of the strike zone if you're going to get a lot of swings and misses. And Kavan, very similar with that rise ball to me, that she doesn't have to throw it in the strike zone if they're going to swing and miss. Why? What's the point? I'd do it if my pitches would work well enough to do it. Mine just didn't move well enough. So if you can get her to work a 3-0 count and really attack some of those pitches that were more or less the first and second strikes that were more down the middle, that's where I would look for the green light to go and attack those two.
That's the thing. It sounds so simple, but if you
Sure.
can pitch it out of the strike zone and keep it away, it's
Right.
harder to hit. And if you have the movement to do that, where you can get hitters to bite, as this ball sent up the middle from Buick. Nice play at short by Good.
And this one, Buick just did a good job getting on top of it. A beautiful dive there from Good, though. This one looks like it's going to get up the middle, but that glove, last second, Good just extending her arm. Makes the stop, but not in time to make the throw.
Buick on first, still able to keep that one from getting all the way through. It was a nice grab. 2 outs, though, for Cami Quartercracks now up at the plate. Also want to mention in the field, it's Katie Bennett who slid out to right field as Stewart came out Brister at second. I think you saw a shot of them a couple moments ago. Swing and a miss here for Buick.
Come on, 27.
Quartercracks with a strikeout in her last AB. Did get a hit into left in her first. Quartercracks sends a fly ball into left center, and it drops. Buick sliding into third. Quartercracks with a huge hit for the Buckeyes.
Great job by Quartercrack seeing this pitch and turning on it. She does a beautiful job getting her barrel and hitting this pitch out in front of her. It gets up in the zone. It doesn't have to be a home run, doesn't have to be a line drive. This one, just a pop fly that finds no man's zone. Maloney can't get to it. Buick staying aggressive, sees that it drops and gets all the way to third base. 2 in scoring position for the Buckeyes. One thing that I'll say about Ohio State, Coach Kumar's Buckeyes, is that they don't give up. They continue to fight. I love what we're seeing here.
And this is where you talk about how important it is that Quartercracks has become more consistent, and that's the big area that Coach Kumar has wanted her to improve upon. Even if she's not hitting as many home runs, it's the timely hits like that that can make the difference.
Right, and that's what I'd say, like that swing right there, it resulted in a pop-up. It was shallow. It was one of those things where if you maybe had her previous swing, for example, even though her previous swing would have resulted in more home runs, it might not have actually connected with that pitch to allow that ball to drive in. So consistently, she's putting her bat on the ball more, but it might not result in more home runs. So that's the give and take of it all. And that was really, you could almost tell when you talked with Coach Kumar that she was kind of conflicted with it. Should I have left her swing the way it was so that she could have more home runs? Or should I have, worked to get her more consistent? And it really felt like a conflicted conversation when talking with her.
Quartercracks with this .373 batting average, career best as a result of all those things you just talked about with the adjustments to her swing. As it balls across the plate to Milliken.
Regardless, it paid off in that situation. 2 in scoring position and then a little bit of a rally here in the later parts of this game.
Milliken watches ball 1 as one would expect with that 3-0 count, looking for her first hit of the day.
And if you're Mike White, you want to see Tegan Kavan fight through this, right? You're about to play a super tough schedule. You've got to find a way to fight through adversity. Uh-oh.
Milliken ripped one out to left field. It was foul. It was awfully close.
Couldn't get much closer than this. And what a huge hit would that have been for Milliken. Put her team right back in this game.
Sure looked good coming off the bat.
No kidding. And to my point about Kavan really needing to fight through adversity, you've got 2 runners in scoring position. You've got to make your pitches move and get out.
Swing and a miss and a huge out for Tegan Kavan right as the Buckeyes started to rally. She comes up with a huge out to hold on to the 4-0 lead. Bring anyone in and ultimately put runs on the board.
Yeah, but you feel like they had a little bit of adrenaline. And I felt like it started a little bit with Kay coming in. Kennedy Kay coming in, finishing that inning strong, really getting excited there at the end of last inning and then bringing that in offensively. So getting a good inning here defensively.
Simmons sends a fly ball into right center. Waving everyone off is Lamone and making the catch.
So that's now 3 straight outs there against the Longhorns for Kay.
Quiroga back into the lineup, the left fielder, after Wallace came on to pinch run for her. Strike 1. Quiroga 0 for 2, you see at the bottom of your screen, did reach on an error in the 4th. Again, came into this game really, really hot at the plate. Swing and a miss. How you like that pitch, Jenny? I see it in your head.
When you can see movement as good as that, and it just kind of starts at the corner and continues to cut further out, and you can see how Quiroga had to continue to fish. She bent and really extended her arms. That's when you know it had great movement. You see how Kay continued to throw that pitch again a little bit further out, see if she could get Quiroga again, working the ladder. That was a great series of pitches, those last 2. I loved it. And that's confidence right there. That's what you want to see Kay do over and over again.
Swing and a miss, a strikeout. Another K for Kay here in Columbus.
A little bit of a nod there for Kay after she threw the pitch. A little bit of an off speed brought inside here. Gets Quiroga's timing off as she swings and whiffs through this. You can see how the spin of the ball was kind of slowed up, taking the speed off the ball. You can see it all over Kay's face, just the confidence that she has. Owning her pitches. When you feel that in the circle, it exudes in the rest of your team. Again, you bring that back on your offense. Things can change. Things are a little bit different. Got a couple more innings to work with defensively here too. Or excuse me, offensively. Make things happen.
Bennett swings and misses, 0-2 counts. Kay on fire here.
Well, and I think she's a great compliment too for what Lauren Boutte did as well, because Boutte up, a little bit of an off speed. Now you're seeing Kay down, a different feel on her off speed, very different pitches, and forcing Texas to really adjust.
Little blooper down the line is foul for Katie Bennett, who's now up the plate for Texas. And that's the thing, though. That's the positive about changing pitchers, is the Buckeyes do have a couple warming up in the bullpen. Cassandra Gay-Wicki and Lena Gerhard, is that you can throw the batters off with the different styles, the different movements, whatever pitch is their bread and butter.
Yep. And again, Texas has that versatility as well in their staff. And it's maybe more a little experience than Ohio State, but there are some similarities in both of these teams.
Comebacker for Bennett. Out safely made at first. 3 up, 3 down inning for Kennedy Kay and the Buckeyes, looking to make up some ground offensively in the bottom of the frame.
You've just seen how well she would do for Nebraska, how much she would bring to the Big Ten. But, you know, obviously it's great that she's healthy, she's back, and she's really come back in a huge way, both hitting, two-way player, hitting and pitching. Michigan pitching Kat Myers that has thrown a perfect game, showing a lot of defensively there for Michigan as well. And then you're right, the addition of the new teams here in the Big Ten has really just only strengthened what the Big Ten is doing. So much parity.
Bunt laid down by Farley, safe at first. Crowd making some noise here. Farley aboard with no outs in the 6th.
Farley a little bit of speed. This bunt goes down. Scott makes the throw and it comes across the bag, and with Farley's speed she had to rush it just a little bit, and so when Brister came through, knocks the glove off of her hand because of where the ball kind of went across the bag.
So there you have it. The call on the field stands.
The interference would have to be there, and my feeling of it would be that the interference would have had to be there with Farley if she impacted the throw while it was happening on that side of the plate, and she did not impact the throw. The throw was missed without her impacting the throw. But a good call for Coach White to challenge it and see and really make the try. Again, you can't take them with you, so you might as well use them.
Neither coach had used one yet today, and we're in the 6th inning, so why not? Jasmine Burns now up, so Farley reaches on first. It is called a single. Jasmine Burns up at the plate, did get on base on an error in her last at-bat. Pops it up here. 1 on, no outs. That actually was just the 2nd time today that Ohio State has had the leadoff batter reach.
And that's huge for Ohio State. For Kavan, again, this is where she's got to get tougher, and you've got a tough hitter in Burns. She's been seeing the ball well.
1-2 count here for Burns.
And we've talked a lot about how Ohio State doesn't have as much speed as Texas, but Farley, one of the batters that does typically have a little more speed than the rest.
Ball that's low. Burns with 8 home runs, 3 in the last 5 games. And those 8 home runs are already 1 shy of her total from all of last season. She had 9. Certainly seeing the ball well, to your point. Another ball low.
Yeah, interesting to Kavan here in the later parts of the inning, and I don't know if it's she's trying to introduce different pitches lower in the zone, that drop ball maybe that she just doesn't have as much control of as she does her rise ball, but throwing a lot more balls here, not as sharp as she was at the beginning.
Burns rips one out to center, and it's gone! A 2-run bomb for Jasmine Burns gets the Buckeyes on the board against the top-ranked Longhorns. Talking about her home run hitting with 8, make it 9 on the season.
The only thing I could think of is hearing Coach Kumar say, we aim for doubles. To me, sometimes you hit them out of the park when you work for doubles. You can see the barrel get through with Jazzy Burns right here. She's got so much power, and you can see how excited Farley was when she saw that ball lifted out of the park. Burns, the excitement, the power that she has to drive this out, bringing her team 2 runs closer, keeping them in this game.
Very much in this game, 4-2. With more opportunities as there's a swing and a miss for Fry.
I'm not really a fan of using the word complacent. I think it's kind of a strong word, but in some of these pitches here in these later parts of the inning, without the sharpness that I've seen from Kavan, it looks a little bit like, I mean, those last 2 pitches there, and really that entire at-bat there from Fry's at-bat was so much stronger than what I saw the last 2 at-bats from Farley and Burns, that just like some of the pitches just look like she took them off a little bit. They weren't as sharp. They didn't feel like they popped as much. They didn't move as much. And then, boom, here comes Jazzy Burns' home run, and it kind of woke her up a little bit. And then now all of a sudden we're seeing better movement, a little bit more pop on those rise balls, and she's starting to make the ball move a little bit more. And we got a strikeout again. So that's kind of the key thing for Texas, and maybe what Mike White wants to see out of her is that adversity of wanting to see her stay strong and stay solid and finish every pitch.
Pinch hitter stepping in here for the Buckeyes, Emma Talley, who is searching for her first hit of the season. Ball outside, high and outside, in fact. Emma Talley coming in to pinch hit there for Skylar Lamone.
Atwood having a little bit of a conversation with Kavan as well.
There are a couple of pitchers warming up in the pen here for the Longhorns. Citlali Gutierrez and Sophia Simpson both getting warmed up, as you just pointed out, feeling like Kavan's lost a little bit of the edge here during this last stretch.
And I think this is such a key moment where you don't want to get in a situation where you tie the game up, where you're down a run, anything like that, but you also want to see your ace pitcher fight through a situation. And they've played a schedule where they've had some tougher opponents sprinkled through it, but they've also played a lot of opponents where they've beat them handily. And I think in a lot of cases you do that to build confidence ahead of a really, really, really difficult regular season and not wear them out before they get there. So this is a really important moment where they're facing an opponent that's going to give them a battle. And it's a moment for Kavan to really step up.
Talley, the sophomore catcher, transferring in from UC Riverside, now with a full count. And you pointed out, if you load up the non-conference schedule with a ton of top 10, top 25 ranked opponents, you maybe run out of gas before the conference season gets underway. Swing and a miss! Talley goes down swinging. 2 outs on the board here for the Longhorns.
And this is what Mike White wants to see, right? Resilience, bounce back, and come out with 2 Ks after a big home run. This pitch, to me, not as much movement as I'd expect to see, but you've got a pinch hitter in. Go right at her. She hasn't seen your movement. She hasn't seen what you can do. Go and attack her. And that's what Kavan did right there on that pitch. She attacked the zone. She got the K. 2 big strikeouts there, 2 big outs. Go ahead and finish this inning right here. Get your team back out on offense and really go to attack Kennedy K as a pitcher. That's the plan here. It's a game of chess. That's what you got to do.
Oh, 2 count now, so up in the count against Taylor Cruz. Kavan certainly seems to have turned up the heat here, these last 3 batters.
Got to get a little mad in there. Nobody wants to give up a home run.
Cruz pops it up into the center field, and Maloney making the catch.
Jazzy Burns, though. I mean, talk about making it hurt, sending this one over the fence, getting her team closer, but making this crowd go wild. On a phenomenal job there in the circle, really reigniting what she needed to do for her team. And I just love what she's done. A lot of confidence.
Kay now facing Ashton Maloney for the first time today, the leadoff batter for the Longhorns. Kay, though, 2 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, no hits, no earned runs. Maloney, though, 2 for 3 with a single, a double, RBI, run scored. There she gets a piece of it, sends it to first, and it's an easy step on the bag play for Milliken.
Up batting the third baseman, number 10, Mia Scott.
A good quick pick there, beautiful backhand pick there from Maloney, and in that sun, you can see how that sun's just kind of beaten. Glove blocking the sun first and then coming to a backhand.
Mia Scott now up for the Longhorns. Hit that home run in her first AB in the first inning. Had a base hit in her last AB. 2 for 3 on the day. 2-0 count.
Not a bad pitch there.
Scott gets a piece of it, sends it into center, and it's caught. What a play by Cami Quartercracks.
Cami Quartercracks, how did she catch that over the shoulder with the glove?
Player number 9, Julie Mitchell.
What a beautiful catch, just tracking it down. That looked like that was about to drop in the middle of 3 Ohio State defenders.
Jolie Mitchell watches ball 1. Now, would you say that's the center fielder's job to call the other 3 off?
I mean,
based on the positioning, who should have got there?
If Lamone could have gotten to it, she should have called him off, but I don't think any 3 of them really felt like they could have gotten to it.
Mitchell.
And that's one of those situations too, like Quartercracks is running back on it. And she's probably wondering if she's gonna run into Lamone because Lamone is running in on her. Just one of those situations too where there's that concern too that everybody's pulling up, waiting for somebody to call it off. It's just more difficult than it looks. Quartercracks did a phenomenal job catching it. And I'm no lip reader, but it kind of looked like she said, I don't know how that happened. Like to play that one back.
Well, how do you catch a ball coming over your shoulder? Like in terms of tracking it, that's so difficult.
I know we used to work on like over the shoulder, we called them QB drills, quarterback drills. And they were difficult. Practice them though.
Jolie Mitchell with the pop-up to end the inning here for Texas. Coming up for the Buckeyes, it's the top of the order, Hadley Parrish.
And they're ready to come in here and make something happen.
Got to give credit to Tegan Cavan. 11 Ks on the day, her 4th career 10-plus strikeout game. 2nd since just last Wednesday. I mean, she's tough. Coach Kumar said it, one of the best in the country. Parisian pops it up. Caught over and right by Katie Bennett, who's back in at 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, she's had a great game. And, you know, like I said, if you're Ohio State, you just accept that there's going to be some Ks in there. There's going to be some strikeouts. But Ohio State's battled well, too. They found a way to make it happen. And Cavan has battled in what she has.
Right as we're talking about a nice outing for Cavan, a pitching change.
It's got this off-speed that Mike White calls the Cries. It's a curveball, rise ball combo that kind of has really tight spin. It moves up and out, lots of rotation. It induces a lot of pop-ups. So I think that you're going to see a lot of that here just in these last couple outs with the intent to induce that pop-up and get out of this last inning here.
Strike across the plate. Sammy Buick up to bat here for the Buckeyes. Buick 1 for 2. Maybe tipped that one off, but 0-2 count.
And that was kind of that Cries feeling too that Mike White said too, it typically curves and goes up. Sometimes it can have that downward spin, and you saw it there, that super tight spin that tumbled a little bit down on that one as it hit the end of Buick's bat.
Swing and a miss. The Longhorns 1 strike away from victory.
Gutierrez just absolutely attacking the zone here. Buick unable to lay off of any pitch that Gutierrez threw. That's the hard part when you have such a veteran pitching staff that you can go in and shut them down immediately on swings and misses, getting chases.
Right on cue, Cami Quartercracks.
Right, that's what you're seeing here.
1 out away here are the Longhorns from their 15th consecutive victory. Quarter cracks, swings and misses again, 0-2 count.
And at this point, you've literally seen one pitch that has been full speed from Gutierrez. Everything else has been the off speed. First pitch of the game, full speed. That one, her second. Full speed pitch. Everything else, off speed. And it's hard when you're Ohio State to have to go and make adjustments to something that's off speed when you've been focusing on this high speed, up moving pitch from Kavan, and here comes Gutierrez with something completely different.
Quarter cracks. Little blooper on the ground. Throw to first is made in time. And that will do it. A valiant effort from the Ohio State Buckeyes, but the top-ranked Texas Longhorns win their 15th in a row and improve to 26-1 on the season.
tìm cho mình cái gì đó. Vậy thì làm sao chúng ta có thể chiến thắng được cái thú vui đó? Chắc chắn bản thân chúng ta không thể chiến thắng được, phải nhờ đến ơn Chúa. Và để chúng ta thấy được cái giá trị nhờ đến ơn Chúa, nhờ cầu nguyện, nhờ lời của Chúa. Trong bài đọc 2 trích thư của Thánh Phaolô gửi cho tín hữu Roma hôm nay, cho chúng ta thấy Thánh Phaolô nói lời của Thiên Chúa ở gần ta, ngay ở trên miệng, ngay trong lòng. Thời đó là lời chúng tôi rõ ràng để khơi dậy đức tin. Cho nên chúng ta cần phải nhận ra rằng để có thể chiến thắng được thú vui đó thì mình phải lại đến lời của Thiên Chúa, lời của Chúa gần với chúng ta. Mỗi khi chúng ta đọc lời Chúa thì lời đấy ở trên miệng chúng ta. Mỗi khi chúng ta nghe lời Chúa thì lời Chúa đang ở bên cạnh mình. Và khi chúng ta ngồi lại suy ngẫm lời của Ngài thì lời của Chúa lại trong lòng của chúng ta. Lời đó chính là lời cho chúng ta đời sống đức tin. Và chính việc chúng ta sống đức tin đấy là sống đức tin vào chính Chúa, vì chính Chúa đã chiến thắng tất cả những thú vui đó. Để rồi Ngài đã chiến thắng và Ngài mở ra cho chúng ta sống. Đó là lời của Thánh Phaolô dạy chúng ta hôm nay. Thế rồi chúng ta cần phải được